Good afternoon, everyone that's joining us on Facebook. In just a few minutes, we will be actually beginning our discussion for this evening. Our discussion this evening is Welcome to Fatherhood. We have with us Sir Royce Briales. He will actually be introducing us all to his nonprofit, the reason why he started his nonprofit, and we'll just be going over some things that we need to have happen within the community as far as our men are concerned, right? So many times we hear about the women, but we really don't hear about the men. But we will be going live. Just give us just a few moments. LinkedIn and Facebook are syncing, and we can start. And so it looks like we can go live now. It looks like they've actually joined. They've actually joined today. And I've learned something in day 4 is that, I was panicking the other 2 days that we went live. And that's because I was like, okay, why is this on LinkedIn and it's not on Facebook? And what's going on? And then I found out why I was doing that is because according to StreamYard, it takes a couple of minutes for them to both sync up together. So today we're ready to go. And before we go, once again, our guest tonight is Sir Royce Briales. He is in the Chicago area. And I was so fortunate to be introduced to Sir Royce by one of my other friends that I've met here on LinkedIn, which is Dr. Tanya Farron, which is someone that I work under during my sales for AI, my girl Ruby. She's the distributor that I work with. So I actually did, want to thank her, take the time right now to thank her ahead of time for introducing us to right here in Chicago. And we both do work, as far as our foundations go, we both do work that actually impacts the African American community. In like all other states that have a big as far as our foundations go. Hold on for one moment. As far as our foundations go, they have a big impact in the African American community. And while Royce and I were talking, he brought up something. I'm going to let him bring up why he started this organization for men and for new dads. I'm going to let him bring it up, but we both touch the lives of so many when it comes down to health and it comes down to our health and wellness. We do. So it's with great pleasure that I was fortunate enough to have met him. So, who is Sir Royce Briales? And Sir Royce, if I say your last name wrong, please forgive me. Blame it on the head, not the heart, because it's not me. I'm trying my best. He is a when I say passionate advocate for fatherhood. Everybody, look, he's so passionate about fatherhood that he had 2 of his babies in his hands. They're not babies, but he had 2 of his kids in his hands. He was trying to get ready for this. And I was like, oh my God, he is really doing the fatherhood thing. So that's how fortunate his children are to have him as a dad. And that's how, fortunate we all are to know who he is, right? As we go forward, if you have any comments or you want, have anything to say or share, please go ahead and put them in your comment section so that we can see them, so that he can actually address them. Because what we don't want to do is we don't want to leave with someone having a question and no one getting an answer. If he can't answer it tonight or I can't answer it tonight, we will make sure you get an answer. So once again, he is a passionate advocate for fatherhood, entrepreneurship, and community empowerment. With a background in business and a heart dedicated to making a positive impact, Sir Royce has become a prominent figure in the world of fatherhood through Welcome to Fatherhood. He shares his wealth of knowledge and experiences, helping fathers navigate the joys and challenges of parenting. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you. But as I said earlier, if your sons and daughters want to join the conversation, let them join, because you know what? Our future is in their hands, right? You might be like, no, they're just going to say,
Oh
No,
yeah.
let them come on, let them talk, because Black History Month is, it's about adults, right? And I should say Black in History Month is about adults, right? But we are doing this so that they have a future that they could look up to. So we don't want to silence them. If they want to come on and they want to say something, please go ahead and let them talk. And we have our first actually comment coming through from Damian Kinsey, who says Royce is a
Okay.
big advocate for fathers. Yes, he is, Damian. He truly, truly is. Like I say, you guys that are looking, you'll see it in action because his children just simply love him. So that's me, and I'm gonna let him, when he's done with his daughter, I'm gonna let him and her, because she's such a sweetheart. I'm gonna let the both of them have the floor and go ahead and discuss Welcome to Fatherhood.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. Welcome to Fatherhood was started back in 2016. I was actually expecting to be a dad. My son was on the way. So he's 8 years old now. So that's right around the time we started Welcome to Fatherhood. But how it started, we were me and my childhood friend, Dr. Raheem Young. We would meet and just talk about different business ideas, things that we can do in regards to entrepreneurship. And those conversations would start talking with us talking about business. Then it would end up with me asking questions about fatherhood, because at the time he already had three. He already had three kids, so he's a lot more experienced. So we kind of had a light bulb moment at that moment, like, what can we do for dads? And I went home and Googled it that night. I said, how many organizations, fatherhood organizations in Chicago? I Googled fatherhood organizations, and maybe about 1 or 2 pages. So then I Googled motherhood. Let me see what motherhood got, and it was a lot more. It's like maybe like 20 pages. It was like real, like a lot more. So I'm like, oh, so there's a need. Then literally, it hit me like a ton of bricks. The name for it, it was like a double entendre. Double WTF is the acronym. Like you can see my hoodie. WTF is the acronym. So that's the idea I had for the name. Yeah, I do got merch. My daughter said, "Daddy, you got merch." But yeah, I text Dr. Raheem like the name for it, and we both kind of laughed. And and after that, we got incorporated, and we've been doing it ever since.
And that's so wonderful. And I have Jackie Hallberg responding. First of all, she says, hello, friends. Hello, Jackie. Hopefully, you're doing well this evening. She says she loves that your friendship turned into this important fatherhood collaboration. I'm lucky as well. That this has turned into this type of collaboration, right? Because as we said when we talked the other day, you cover it from the dad's point, and so many times dads, especially our young fathers, have children who might have some kind of illness or sickness and really not be sure where they can go or where they can turn to for help. And while you can get them the help that they need through the mental part of it, well, through the physical part of it, as far as keeping the dads together, it helps to know that, okay, well, if there's something that they need for health for their children, now we got this interaction going where I could reach out to Chums or to Sandra and say, hey, do you know somebody that can help them with this initiative or whatever the healthcare issue is, right? And so together it becomes a holistic experience for the dad, right? The dad and the children. The children, on the other hand, they're somewhere where they're learning and they're playing, right? They are doing what kids do best. And so it helps to know that, mom, dad is being taken care of. And so they can learn and they can continue to get better. Now, we do have a LinkedIn user, and I'm not sure who the LinkedIn user is, but the LinkedIn user is saying host workshop, food drives, and research on fatherhood. So I'm taking it that's some stuff that you do, Sir Royce Briales and Raheem Young,
Yeah.
DBA. Welcome to Fatherhood, our great connections. And I do believe that, right? Like you said, Royce, Sir Royce, when you did the initial lookup, right, to see what programs were out there for dads, you like 2 pages. So like, wow, we got all these dads, and all, especially in
Yeah.
the inner city of Chicago, we got all these dads. And every time you turn, well, not every time, but 90% of the time that you turn on the TV, is always some negative about the young men in Chicago, the guys in Chicago, how they ganging up, how they doing this, how they doing that, right? And so they need a resource to turn to. And 2 pages of resource for all the young men that we have in Chicago that are dads, like really, like that's not even beginning to skim the surface. So you and Brother Raheem, you guys working together, y'all got ideas. Y'all can make this work. The connection is definitely there. And you're not a new organization. You've been around for a couple of years, and I'll let you go into that. But that connection of, okay, Brother Raheem had 3 children already. Here you are brand new at this, right? How many other dads are out there that need the help from somebody that actually was there already? Did that already. My son got a fever. What do I do? Or he cut his hand. What do I do? Anything, right? It helps to know that there's some type of resource available for them that they can turn to and get some mentorship and get some help in whatever it is that they're doing. So Dr. Tanya, once again, she's saying hello, all hello, Dr. Tanya, and thanks for hosting this, Sandra. That Damien, I had to, right? Once again, what Sir Roy said earlier, we need to bring light to this during Black History Month. We need to bring light to the Black fatherhood connection, not just the Black fatherhood connection, but all fatherhood connections. But since it's February here in America, we celebrate Black History Month in February. It's important for people to know, hey, all Black guys, all Black young men are not on the street ganging up or shooting or, doing all of these negative things that so often appear on TV. What needs to happen is that positive images, such as what, WTF does, right? What their input is, what their insight is. Positive experiences like this need to be shown. They need to know that there is some positivity out here in these communities, in the Black African American community, especially here in Chicago. But I'm sure that there's others across the spectrum of the United States that also offer this kind of help. So, we need to get it out there. We need to consistently say, hey, for every negative thing, there's a positive aspect. And here's the positivity. So we could keep showing organizations like WTF. We could start, continue to show men like Sir Royce Briales. And we could show them, just like he just had his daughter in the room. And we could show them really, not just talking the talk about the importance of the African American fatherhood connection, showing it, right? We need to see it. Let's see it. So he's actually, his children are actually very active in his life. And like I said earlier, I'm just hoping that, while he's talking and you see them come in and you see him interact with them, you also will know that there are positive images in our children's lives that really need to be highlighted. We do also have the LinkedIn user that is saying, how many people will humble themselves and ask for help from their friends? Right. Good
No,
question,
no,
David.
no.
Good
Okay.
question. How many? Like, if, we took a poll today or tomorrow, how many? We're starting this now. This is our first annual Black Americans and Black History Month, right? Let's do this next year and see how many actually answer that call, right? So he's definitely a true positive role model. And Sir Royce, what I would like to actually ask you is, when did your organization start?
Yeah, so it was 2016. But we started doing our initial programming though in 2018. That's when we really started hitting the ground running. So we started having our what we call now our symposiums. But we would meet twice a month on the first and third Thursday of every month, and we still do it to this day. We were doing it in person at first. It was 100% in person. So we would have maybe 10 to 12 dads in a circle. We'll come up with a topic and then we'll ask questions to the men in the room to get them to kind of open up and have a conversation with each other to kind of get dads to talk, giving them a safe space, if you will. So we started doing that in 2018. We kept on doing that. And then the pandemic started. So we couldn't meet in person anymore, which was kind of like a blessing in disguise because we were able to reach a bigger audience online. We started doing them 100% on Zoom. And we reached people from all the way to California, all the way to North Carolina, even Africa, Australia, even some people in the UK. We reached like a worldwide audience. Just a bunch of dads just talking about, fatherhood related stuff, just connecting as men mostly. So that's something that I'm most proud of is that we reached a lot of people. We've had a lot of group discussions with dads. So I'm most proud of that.
And by rights, you should be, because of the simple fact that dads don't, as much as they mean in the child's life, right? Dads just really don't get the kind of insight and the kind of input that we as women get, we as moms get. I was actually at church today, and our pastor, that was the title. That was most of the title of today's sermon, was talking about the importance of dads. And he brought up a really valid question, a really valid point, right? We as women, moms, we can't be dads. A lot of times we are put in a certain situation where we have to act like we are the dads, but in reality, we're not the dads. So the dads need that safe space or that
Right.
man cave or that man, they just need that space where they can actually reach out and actually join, together, regardless as, I'm gonna put it out there, this is African American Month here in the United States. You got another one in Canada. You got a Black History Month in Africa. I'm not sure what other countries we have Black History Months in, but it's important, during this month that we focus on the Black male. But what you said makes so much sense in the fact that you have dads from Canada, you have dads from Australia, you have dads from the UK, you have dads from all over the country. So it's really, really important to know that you are touching dads' lives, irregardless of the fact that, not so much based on color, but just based on the fact that you guys all have one thing in common, and that is that you're dad. We have Jackie Hallberg, who says kids deserve to be included in so many things, especially with activities with their dads. And Jackie, you are correct. You are correct. It's a known fact that, children that have dads in their lives do so much better than children that don't have dads or a father figure in their lives. And look at the cute little girl don't have father figures in their lives. They really do need to have a male role model. And guess what? Even within the WTF format, and I'll ask you this: is it do you guys say you have a male figure that's not a dad but really wants to serve as a role model for another kid? Do you welcome them into the WTF foundation as well, organization as well?
Yeah, for sure. We welcome anybody because we have a podcast also where we interview dads. We've also interviewed moms as well, but we've also had podcasts where we've interviewed people that don't have any kids at all, because I think even they have a fatherhood experience. They have a dad themselves, so they can speak to that, their history with their dad, and they have also the potential to become a dad, someday. So it's always good to connect with other men that have kids or even don't have kids, so we can all kind of get information off each other like a village, if you will.
And so Damien again says that these are thought provoking workshops, and he pretty much backs you up and says they're centered around much needed topics. They welcome everyone to them, not just dads. And so that's really important to know that, you're seeing that, but then you actually also have another male figure in our community that's also saying the same thing. So, hey, if you're not a dad, but you really want to serve as a role model, and you're just really not sure how to serve as a role model, right? You're welcome to them. I heard you a little earlier state that, you're mostly dads. So out of that, mostly dads. See, I want to help, right? But I believe that, and I'm going to, you're having a vendor event for Juneteenth, and Charms will definitely be signing up to be a vendor there at that event. But as far as the organization itself, from coming to the meetings and, taking part in those meetings, I think it means, I know you welcome women, and I'm thankful that you welcome women, but I think dads need to have a space of their own. Like, right, like we ain't doing nothing, like we
Yeah.
just getting together, you know what I'm saying? Like we just getting together, we fellas, we chilling, and so you're here and we welcome you because we don't want to turn you away, but that limits what you as guys can do because of the simple fact that you want to be mindful that there are women there, right? So it's like certain things that when women are present, you hold back on. Like, is that, well, out of that percentage of women that you accept and, that come out, what is the percentage of women that come out and, like, are just there?
Well, we're mindful of that. So we have topics where we mainly only invite the men. So and there's some topics that we have where it's more co-ed. So we invite the women to come on to have a more structured conversation. So it's not like every symposium we invite all the men, all the women. We only invite men for most of the discussions that we have. But for the times where we have a topic where we need a woman's point of view, that's when we'll invite more women.
Okay, well, I
But I'll
thank
say
you
on
so much
average,
for thank you for so much for explaining that. Because when you say
yeah,
WTF, right, I'm like, okay, why
yeah,
is a woman at a man's event? Like, why can't they just have space on their own? So I understand it a little bit better. So I'm open to that. The fact that you have topics that you go off course, and you're like, okay, well, we need the women to tell us what they think about this,
yeah.
and we need their input. So let's include the women. We have Miss Carolyn Coleman here. She says, hello, everyone. And then Dr. Tanya says, by guiding parents every day as an educator, it's so powerful to have the male perspective and guidance to other fathers. And Dr. Tanya, I totally, totally agree with you. I'll just take, for instance, my son, who's a grown adult now. But as he was growing up, my husband, which is his stepfather, because his biological father wasn't really that active in his life, his stepdad was at all the events. His stepdad went to the school board meetings and went and did all of the things that needed to be done just so that he could actually have, daughter making them up, just so that he could actually have a place, and make sure that he had a father figure there for him. So, I so totally agree with you, Dr. Tanya, that yes, indeed, fathers are needed. Even if you're not a dad, like even if you're not a dad, like Sir Roy said, they still welcome you. They welcome you if you're a man, right? They welcome you if
Yeah,
you're a woman
for sure.
too. But they welcome you if you're a man and you have ideas, you have concepts you want to give to the children. Because at the end of the day, it's all about the children. At the end of the day, it's all about what can we give our future? Like, where
Yeah,
do we leave our future at if we don't teach them? If we don't show them love, and this is February, is love month. If we don't show our children love, what's going to happen to them? Right? When they get older. And let's see what his daughter dresses him up to be.
you know what the sticker? What's the sticker? You got me. You got me.
And so I do
You
see
see it?
Damon says not at all the women and men had respectful discussions at the events that he attended. They have a conversation centered around family dynamics. Thank you, Damien. And I actually get that from what Sir Royce just said, was that they do have meetings where they look at that family dynamic. They want the woman to get back, they want the woman's, to say what they have to say. They want them to share what they want to share. And so now, once again, that I understand that, I'm all for it because of the simple fact that, yeah, men need women sometimes to give their insight, just like women need men to give their insight. And the thing about it is, when the two come together and the two respect and share together, what occurs is that you have an excellent, excellent dynamic there, a holistic dynamic there that's able to work with, not only work with the children, but work through the children. See through the children's eyes. Like, okay, well, this is what I see and this is what you see. Come to the middle of the road and say, okay, together, this is how this is how we'll do it. So, Royce, I do have a question for you. Are there organizations? I know you said that that the WTF is now online, and you now have a number of organizations that join with you, or not organizations, but you're open to men across the realm, right? You
Yeah.
started as a Chicago-based or an Illinois-based nonprofit. You're now an international nonprofit because you're actually in spaces other than the United States. So, are there local organizations or national organizations that you guys like collaborate with to say, okay, well, let's do this function and let's do it together so that we can reach more people? Or is it just, I won't say just, but is it WTF taking the lead on everything and doing everything without insight of collaboration?
Yeah, we have done some collaborations in the years that we've been incorporated. We have our symposiums at it's a place called a house in Austin. It's a house that was renovated in the Austin community, and it's basically like a parenting hub. So basically, they help mothers, they help fathers, they help with daycare. They have a laundry that you can use. They have a lot of community events uh, at a house in Austin. They've been around uh, probably longer than we have. But we have our symposiums there. So now we have it where it's hybrid. That's something that we're working on. We want to get more people to come out to join us when we have the symposiums, but people haven't really showed up as much. But that's where we have our symposiums, is at a house in Austin. We've also partnered with the Collaboration for Early Childhood Development, or Early Childhood. We've been partnering with them for about 5 years now. Um, so we've been connected with other organizations, and we're open, to connecting to more to further this cause as a father, to get more information about mental health and wellness to as many men as we possibly can.
And so, for those that are listening tonight that are like, okay, he said Austin, which they don't know because they don't live in Chicago. Can you give us a historical background on Austin, including the makeup of who lives in Austin, the social economic factor of Austin?
Yeah, so Austin is on the west side of Chicago. It's real close to Oak Park, which is also a neighboring. It's a city neighboring to Chicago, but it's the west side of Chicago. It's a lot of black people there, people that look like us, like me. Um, we would say probably lower income status, low to mid income. Um, but right on the block where a house in Austin is, there's a lot of multifamily houses or buildings. So a lot of multifamilies in Austin. Um, but yes, a lot of black people in Austin, black and Latino in the Austin area.
Thank you so much for that. And so that lets you know, everyone that's listening, that lets you know that what they're doing is definitely, definitely, definitely needed, right? Because when we look at healthcare, we look at the social determinants of health, as health, healthcare professionals. We look at the social determinants of health, and two of those social determinants of health are clearly tied to the neighborhood where WTF is hosted at. One is the environment, right? So the environment is a big part of the social determinants of health, which, if dealt with correctly, um, we can eliminate some of the disparities that happen in healthcare. Um, so it's really important that as we look at where our nonprofits are that are impacting our communities, are they addressing any of the social determinants of health? Like, is the work they doing, is it really needed? Well, when you look at the Healthy People 2030 initiative that's rolled out by the Department of Health and Human Services, and you look at the factors that are all included in there, and you see your community organizations, one good sign that will show you whether or not, from the government standpoint, if what they're doing is really something that database driven to show that it will in fact help the community now and in the future, is take a look at them. And when you take a look at them, look at the organization and see what it is that the organization rolls out, right? What it is that the organization does. Are they touching one or more of those factors? Neighborhoods is another one that is a social determinant of health factor. So it's definitely an organization that really needs to be highlighted, not only during this month, but in the upcoming months, during the upcoming years. We really need to be taking, how can we get involved with what the WTF is doing? I do see Dr. Tanya says that this is critically important. Men really carry a large weight on their shoulders as the head of the household. They feel a great responsibility to their families. I love that you share resources and talk about their mental health. I so wholeheartedly agree with you, Dr. Tanya. It's important, especially when you're dealing with lower socioeconomic individuals, that you talk about their mental health, especially when you're dealing with our young men that, a lot of times in our lower socioeconomic neighborhoods, they're kids themselves, right? They're kids themselves. They've gotten, impregnated a woman, and the woman had the baby, and so now the baby is here, and so the dads are struggling with, how can I be the best dad? How can I do this? So, or they get depressed, or anxiety, or fear, or any number of those factors step in. So for them to actually take the time to say, hey, we saw this as a need. We're going to address this need. One of the needs that we're going to address, along with your physical health, because I'm one that believes that health is health. Is there a difference? Yeah, but overall, health is health, right? So for them to take the chance, to take the opportunities that they have had, and deal with them on a one-on-one basis, and say, hey, I know you're struggling. What are you struggling about? Empathetically listen to our men, as well as hear our men. So listening and hearing, when it comes to empathy, both need to be done at the same time. It's a waste if you do one and you don't do the other. Empathetically hearing and learning is definitely something that I'm actually hearing Sir Royce talk about when he talks about the work that is being done through the WTF. Dr. Tanya also says she loves that you share resources to men. So many men feel great pressures of being a sole provider, or that the weight of the family wellness lies with them. I'm so glad that you're able to talk to them about mental health and to provide them an outlet. And once again, Dr. Tanya, I'm with you. I am so proud to know that they are out here in the neighborhood doing what needs to be done. Like, they see it, they talked about it. They was like, you know what? Talking ain't gonna help us. It's not gonna help us. It's not gonna help the other men. It's definitely not gonna help our children, right? And our children, we just had this conversation 2 days ago in reference to learned behavior. Our children watch what we do. Our children learn what we do, and they pick up on things that we do. So having a good role model, especially a male role model, in front of them or beside them, right? It helps them to see that, whatever challenge comes, I'm up to it because I got help. I got my brother over here. I mean, you guys, like, you're not a fraternity, but you sort of act in that fraternity space because you're there for the brotherhood. you
Yeah,
know, you're
exactly.
there for the sisterhood too, but you're there for the brotherhood. You're like, come on, man, we got this. We could do this. Let's stand up and let's do this together. So it's so, beautiful to know that you take, like Damien said, you take action. I'm a
Yeah,
person like this. I love to talk, right? I'm one, I'll sit down and have a conversation with you in a minute. But if you talking to me and you're saying the same thing over and over and over again, at some point in time, I'm going to walk away because talk is cheap. What you need to do is show some action. So if you can't show action behind your words, then I have nothing for you, right? I feel like
right.
I really don't have anything for you because we can't, especially as adults, especially in today's day and age, we just can't continue to take the role of just sitting there watching, just, talking. I mean, talk is cheap. Talk is
Yeah,
really, really cheap. So whenever I come across someone that's working on something, that has an organization that's trying to make a difference, I'm all for how can I help. And as the founder of Charms Medi Helps, I'm all for how can we collaborate to make this happen. What can we do to make an impact on the most people, not the fewest people, but the most people? Like you said, you've had some events where you've tried and it really didn't, like the engagement that you thought that, at this, when you were putting it together, the engagement that you thought that would be there, it really wasn't there. And I could say for myself, I basically went through the same thing where, there was things that I did that I thought I would have a bigger communication in, or a bigger enrollment in, an involvement in, that it wasn't there. But you did, just you and your partner did exactly what I did. Was I said, let me not so much reinvent the wheel, right? And not so, I don't want to say reinvent, not so much remake the wheel, because the wheel's already out there. It just ain't spinning in the right direction. Let me
right.
reinvent it so that it can indeed make a difference, right? So that we can indeed make an impact. So, out of the number of men that you've actually helped, let's say this year, how many have actually been able to, how many have you seen actually make a turnaround from coming in struggling to, okay, now I got this, I could do this? How many, you don't have to give me a roundabout figure, but I'm
Yeah.
just, just overall, how has that been?
Well, how I look at it, I don't look at it as how many we've helped as far as like get better from struggling, because I think we all as dads are struggling with something when it comes to being a dad. So I guess it's like what end of the spectrum are you in regards to
Right.
your own struggle? But I think what's cool about what we do is, it's a collection of men that have been through some of those same experiences. So it's a lot of men that can talk about what they've been through, and that can help somebody that's going through something in the moment. So we can kind of draw on each other, and build each other up. So I would say, if I had to give you a number, I would say every call we have between 15 to 25 to 30 people on the call, on and off. So what's the math? 50 a month. If I had to give you a
Okay.
rough
So
estimate. So
so do you get 50? I mean, how many? I guess I should have reworded it differently. I'm not gonna say I guess. I should have
yeah,
actually reworded it differently. How many men do you actually get calling you on an everyday, well, not every day, but a week? Let's take a week. How many men call on a week looking for the resources that your organization is actually able to offer?
yeah. So a lot of it right now is word of mouth. So one off occurrences where we'll get an inquiry on our website, or somebody reach out to us on our DMs. Um, but most of our work we've just been able to able to connect with dads and build bases. We have a lot of resources for people that need help. And we even have access to free one-on-one counseling for any dad that's in Chicago.
Oh wow, that's beautiful. And so, just based on what you just said, so you said in Chicago. So for those men that actually outreach you and say they don't live in Chicago, say they live in another state, is there a resource that you can like give them, like say, hey, you could try this. This might work for you where you live at, or you just are not able to help them at all?
Oops. So, what do I need to get my
Okay, well, we're waiting for Sir Royce to join us. I do want to take the time, right, to rejoin us, I should say. I do want to actually take the time right now to say thank you to everyone that has actually joined in. If you're joining in and you were not able to put comments in, please know that you will still be acknowledged. On behalf of myself as well as the Chom's Medi Helps Foundation, we do want you to know that we so appreciate you taking time out of your busy day, your busy Sunday, to join in for this hour. While we're waiting for Sir Royce and some of the questions that are coming in, I can actually answer some of those questions. But we do want to actually soon as he's able to. We do want to actually say our day 5 for tomorrow is going to be Sheree Reed. She's a leader in the MRI field. She has a product that she does that she's working on. She might have already have it in place, but that is our day 5. Our day 5 Black History, um, and our Black History Month program will be Sheree Reed, and she will be talking about MRIs in healthcare. So she will be here tomorrow. Once again, all of our events happen at 6 o'clock in a with the opportunity for those who work to be able to, one, be panelists, and two, for them actually also to be be able to attend, and for those who are listen to actually also get a good chance to listen. We will be doing some. Let me take one look and see if I have Sheree down for. So this will be another LinkedIn Live event tomorrow. Once again at 6 o'clock, this will be a LinkedIn Live and Facebook Live event that we will be hosting tomorrow. So once again, thank you for coming. We're not going anywhere because I do want Sir Royce to actually be able to answer some of these questions and give his own shout out to helping people, or to the people that came in. And Jacqueline Cox, thank you so much. I know Chi-Town is here, and it's beautiful to have Chi-Town home love in the house. It's beautiful to have that support, that encouragement, that, you know what, Sandra, you're doing an excellent job. You know what, you're coming from Chi-Town, you represent Chi-Town. There's all kinds of love in Chi-Town, just like there's all kinds of love throughout both a global level as well as a national level. There's all types of love involved here. So it just helps. Bridget Scarborough, I'm glad to see you. I'm glad to know you're here, another Chicagoan who's also here to support. And once again, you guys that don't live in Chicago, know this. I love you. I love each and every one of you, because you could be doing some of anything today, and yet you're here celebrating with Chom's Medi Helps Foundation, encouraging Sandra, girl, keep it up. We need you. This is the type of conversations that we need to actually have done. Have continue, start the conversation, keep the conversation going. Once again, as I stated earlier, America is not the only country that celebrates Black History Month, or as Carter G. Woodson put, Black health in, not Black health in history, Black history in America, or Black history in, with that key word being in. I'm gonna put the exact phrase up this evening because it's probably gonna be Sheree's quote of the day, because if you notice, I'm putting in quotes every day to remind us, especially us African Americans that are here giving, that have a gift, that want to share, and that are sharing with individuals, that, keep it going, feel empowered. Let's empower our community. Let's do what we must, because there's too many disparities. Today was Cancer Day, World Cancer Day, and the cry is for there to be disparities removed in cancer treatments. This is what we need. We need to continuously have these kind of conversations. We need to continuously push it out there. We need to just continuously grow, right? Not so much, grow in our own community, and then branch out and take that growth and branch it out into different areas, so that everybody, because at the end of the day, we all want to be appreciated. We all want to be loved. So at the end of the day, that's exactly what happens, is that we're loved, we're appreciated. That cultural issue, I'm not going to touch on that because that's coming up in the next couple of days. We'll be hearing about that cultural issue, right? But we all want to be appreciated. Every last one of us wants to be appreciated. I do think we have Sir Royce back. Sir Royce, thanks. Okay, so I
Yeah,
kept it
sorry about
going
that.
for a minute, but I have a question. Well, there's some people out here that's saying Chi-Town here. Great conversation. She loves this program. Well, we have Jacqueline Cox. She's saying hi to me, but she's letting you know Chi-Town is here. Bridget Scarborough saying
Stand
great
up.
conversation. She loves this program. Great work. Dr. Tanya is actually asking you, and Damien is saying this was great, Sandra and Sir Royce. I agree, Damien, that this was a great opportunity for us to get the spotlight where the spotlight needs to be, on the WTF, because they need to be applauded for the work that they're doing with our young men. They need to be applauded. I'm going to bring up Dr. Tanya's question for you, because that's going to be the last question. But what I do want to ask you from my standpoint is this: what age do the gentlemen start at that come into your program? And have you seen a sort of kind of like switch from ages that come into the program?
Yeah. So when we started, we initially had a target audience of younger dads, so between 16 and 25. But as we continue to do the work, we've noticed that we've been talking to dads that are pretty much all ages. But I have to narrow it down for a certain age group. I would say mainly between 32 to 44. In that range is the dads that we normally interact with or talk with. But we have talked to teenage dads, all the way to even grandpas, grandfathers. So we have a wide spectrum of dads that we've talked to. But if I had to narrow it down, I would say probably between 32 to 44 would be the age range.
And so my question to you is this: I know in Chicago, I'm not sure on what side of town is it, but I know in Chicago, there on the south side of Chicago, that there's a high school that pregnant moms go to. Is there, and of course, because you're talking to, your actually aim is to get the dads, but is there like any kind of like high school programs throughout Chicago, that, or the Chicagoland area, or for that matter, even on a national basis, that actually deals with like the teenage, the teenage dads? Are there programs like that that are available for the dads? And if so, has any outreach been done to see about perhaps having WTF come in there and be a resource for them?
Well, that's something that we're currently working on. We're working on getting our certification with the Chicago public school system, so we can start doing our own programming in the schools. I know there's certain organizations that do have support for younger dads. I know one off the top of my head is Dovetail. You know, they have I think they focus more on younger dads. Um, we haven't partnered with them as of yet. I'm open. I'm definitely open to any conversation in regards to collaborations. But that's one of our focuses we're going to work on this year is getting in the school system and getting dads to connect with their kids in school because our kids are in school for a lot of their childhood. So it's important for dads to be involved as much as possible.
Right. And you know what it is too. And the reason why I asked that is because we have a large contingency of dads that are getting younger and younger. Right. And that's because of a number of
Yeah,
socioeconomic factors that they really do need to be outreach. There has to be a way that we as adults, I'm not putting all this on WTF, but we as adults can actually reach out to them and help them, especially the guys, because they're out here doing all kinds of devilment, especially in the Chicagoland area, because they have no outlet. They don't have a positive anything to look forward to, and so they get themselves a lot of times into trouble that they just simply can't get out of. And a lot of times, these gentlemen that are doing this, they are in fact dads, and so they need that assistance as well. So thank you for that. I'm looking for growth with WTF, whether
yeah,
it's the Chicago public school systems, getting churches involved, sending flyers and information out to all kinds of, not just churches but religious institutions, saying, hey, we're here if you need us. This is the programs we offer, so that we can get as much help as we can to our young men. Dr. Tanya is asking a question that we're going to use to actually close out this evening's program. And she's saying, what are some of the topics that you cover? So it's a two-part question. So the first part of that is, what are some of the topics that you cover with the men?
in our symposium, I can say one of the topics. I have to look. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna pull up the exact one. I want to give you the exact name of it. Give me like 2 seconds. Hold on.
Okay.
But we have a lot of different topics. Um, like I said, it's geared to have men open up and just talk. A lot of times as men, we don't really speak up and talk about different things. So that's really the what it's about. Is about getting men to open up and talk. Um, but here it is, the flyer, the unemotional breakdown, a discussion on functional depression. So that was the topic. So we had questions centered around that topic, maybe about 8 to 10 questions, and we kind of how we do it. We kind of go around the room, round robin style. So we kind of get everybody to speak up and have a answer. So if you haven't spoken in a while, we'll call on you like, hey, what do you think about this? So we can get you to talk. But yeah, that was the last topic that we talked about. So we've had other topics where we talked about mental health and even relationships between the mother and the father, like topics like that, where we do invite moms, like I said earlier, to kind of talk about how we can become better as far as communicating with moms and dads between each other. That's only going to help improve the relationships that we have with our kids if our relationships with each other is good and strong. So we talk about a lot of stuff, and that was the last one that we did was the unemotional breakdown.
Okay, and then her other question is this: what are your next upcoming events? So over the next 6 months, where do you see the events going? Like, what events do you have coming up over the next? Well, not even 6 months. Over the next year, what do you
Yeah,
have on your calendar of events over the next year?
yeah. So we have a lot. So I'm glad she actually asked that. We have a wellness summit that we're doing that Dr. Tanya is hosting that she's basically putting together. It's going to be a great event, and us welcome to fatherhood. We're going to be speaking there. So it's going to be a lot of different speakers. So you have the opportunity to join us. It's March 22nd. Did I get the date right, Dr. Tanya? Let me know. I'm not looking at the flyer in front of me, but that's in March. Also, in our area, in our area, we have a Black History event that we're planning for Welcome to Fatherhood, and also another uh, partnership that we have is with the King's Kids Academy. It's a learning center in Oak Park, so we're going to partner with them and do an event for Black History Month. And also our biggest event that I'm proud to that we do every year since the last 3 years is our Juneteenth Fatherhood Festival, where we basically get a whole block in Oak Park, and we basically, like I said, she's going to be a vendor there. We get different vendors, community organizers that align with what we're doing, and we have a great time. We have food, barbecue, stuff for the kids to do, different speakers, performers. We have a nice event every year, so I'm proud to say that we've grown that. I think the last year we had I think over 150 to 200 people show up to the event. So um, that's in the next 6 months. What's going on with Welcome to Fatherhood.
And so my last question to you is this is and that's this. Where can people get in touch with Welcome to Fatherhood? Where and how can people get in touch with Welcome to Fatherhood?
Yeah, so you can reach either myself. You can look up Sir Royce Briales anywhere on social media. Also look up Welcome to Fatherhood anywhere on social media. We're there. Also, you can go to our website, which is WT and then the word fatherhood.org. And you can look at all our services. And also, I've started a blog where I basically talk about different mental health issues and different things that we can do to improve as dads. So, and also have a newsletter that I have on LinkedIn. It's called the Fatherhood Files, where I do once a week, where I just give a different fatherhood perspective. So you can check that out as well. And also our podcast, Welcome to Fatherhood Interviews, that drops on every Wednesday on all the streaming platforms that are available.
All right, I thank you so much. And for those of you, this there is a couple of good things about doing a LinkedIn live. And one of the best things about doing a LinkedIn live is that you can always go back and view the LinkedIn live the LinkedIn live event. You can get the information in reference to how do you reach out, what's the website, if you know someone that's interested and getting in touch with Sir Royce or any other member of WTF, there it's available for you on that link on the replay. You can also reach out to myself through either LinkedIn or through Facebook or through our website, which is www.medihelps, which is medihelpz.com, and just reach out and say, hey, you know what? Can you show me that? Can I see that event again in reference to WTF? Because I'm interested, or I know somebody that might benefit from being a part of that program. The links for all of our events, the events will be posted on our website. They should actually, all of the links should be posted no later than the end of March. Is our guideline is our goal is to get them all up there, all 29 of them up there by the end of March. So with that being said, Sir Royce, can we get one of your precious little children to come on and say good night to us all?
Good night.
Good night. Keep
Good night,
continuing along
everyone.
with your dad. What did you say, Sir Royce?
No, I just say good night, everyone. Thanks for taking the time out.
Good night. Everyone have the rest of a good day.